All of you just open your history textbooks. History textbooks, please. Is the voice audible? Now it is okay? Oh, fine. All of you take page number 108. 108 of your history civics textbook. Yeah. First World War. Yep. Is it okay now? It's okay, fine. Yeah. Today we are going to have a road tour because I have just landed from my aeroplane. I'm taking you, all of you, to the World War One. And what is meant by why is cause? What are the causes of First World War? What is the purpose of having a war? Okay, so we are going to discuss all these things. First of all, why the war occurs? What is the reason behind the war? There is something is that somebody is getting growing and developing, and their industries have been developing, their wealth is being increased. The other country is having somewhat of bad propaganda on a particular issue, particular development of a country. So that will lead to the war. Next thing is that extreme nationalism. Our country only has to rule the world. This is another thing is that. So based on these two things only, the world wars have occurred in the world. But moreover, if you observe in the 1930s and 1920s and so on, there are so many wars that took place in Europe. But these wars are not only in European countries, entire world has suffered under this World Wars 1 and 2. So, from beginning of our British Kingdom, if you take, it is having a worldwide colonies. Colonies means they have colonized every country of the world. So that the British people have developed industrially, and imperialism is more very, very important when we are saying about the Britain and so on. And they are not only developed in naval power, they are not only developed in the industries, they not only developed the colonization of the world. So, by seeing this development of British people, the other countries of Europe, they also wanted to start the same thing, but it was not happened to those countries, those who are developing by seeing the British imperialism and so on. Because of this reason, there is a wars. Because of this reason only, there is a wars. So by seeing we have in Telugu, there is a proverb is there. Puruni chusi nakkala vaakpettu. By seeing the tiger, the fox has made a tattoos. At the end, what happened? The fox dies. Am I clear? So, because of the British power, imperialism and so on, because of the extreme nationalism, yeah, I would like to ask one question to you. Mohit, stand up. Mohit, what is meant by nationalism? What is meant by nationalism? There is an answer on your page number 108 also. There is answer in 107, 108 also we have what we call as a nationalism. Feeling of oneness. Feeling of oneness. So, for example, we all belongs to St. Aloysius. When we say we are St. Aloysius, it is good. The feeling of oneness is good. The feeling of what you call belongingness is good. But if you say our school is the best school in the Visakhapatnam, our school people only have to do the government jobs. Is it possible to do? What about the other people? They also have the same feeling, right? Okay. Their country is supreme. Their power is supreme. Their race is supreme. So all these things led to wars. Extreme nationalism. Extreme nationalism means if you have a feeling of nationality, it is very good. That is the thing happened to Germany. Why the Germany have what we call defeated in the World War One and Two is nothing but because of this reason only. Our country must rule entire world. Our race, the German race, should rule entire world. Next thing is that extreme racism. If you take the Russian people, okay, there was what you call the immediate cause of the war is nothing but killing of people from one country to other country. Sarajevo, the killing of a Prince of Holland was killed by the one extremist youth having 19 years. His name is Joseph Prince, killed Ferdinand of Duke of Ferdinand of Holland and so on. Because of that reason only the World War One occurred. See, those people were, for example, they are in the Austrian country. They wanted to develop their own people and so on, but there is a hindrance is created by the Russian people and so on and other countries of Europe. So that reason they wanted to develop, they wanted to show what they are. What they are, that is led to war. And this Austrian people and Holland people and what you call Portugal people, all of them came together and they have participated in the war. In the previously there was wars only with the kings and so on. But coming to the World War One and Two, this war is led by the people. The participation of people are more than the weapons and so on. Next thing is that the warfare is also developed. Warfare means using of weapons in the war. That is called as warfare. It is also developed. And not only that one, there is a what you call race of armaments. Race of armaments means I prepare one bomb and other country will prepare more than 10 bombs to kill each other. That is a race of armaments. So all these things led to the war. First thing is that armaments means weapons that were used in the war. Armory, or you can say the technology was used for the preparation of bombs. Is it clear? Ravi? Are you here? I said Ravi, not Ravi. Okay, so these are the causes. But one thing is that children, whatever it may be the worst case, the ultimate sufferers are nothing but common people. Nearly 650 crores, lakhs of people have died in the First World War I. There are 650 people, lakhs of people who have died in the First World War I. It takes nothing. It has nothing is to develop. Only it has taken the families. It has deserted. The families were divided. Because all the countries came together, participated in the war. Even India also has suffered. India also has suffered due to this First World War. And next thing is that people participated in the war. Previously, in the 1920s and so on, only the kings, the soldiers used to go and participate in the wars. but it is entire world's what you call war is war. Entire world is a war zone. All the people has to suffer. All the people have to participate in the wars and so on. So this, but it does not have any impact on the world. Moreover, it has taken the wealth of the people, property loss, life has been lost. Everything is lost in the wars. If you see the videos, I'm going to share you in the WhatsApp, whatever you thought you have. I'm going to post you in the WhatsApp videos. Okay. I'm going to post you all the World War I and II videos to you and observe. Okay. So this is what the World War I is, and we are going to have in depth while I am going to explain you by reading the textbook and so on. Am I clear, children? Any other doubts? Yeah, fine. All of you please take page number 108. Page 108. Yeah. In 1914, war began in Europe. Okay, fine. In 1914, there is a war started. See, in Europe, with which soon engulfed means triggered. Trigger means started. Engulfed means triggered. In the sense, started the entire world. With the battles fought in Europe, Asia, Africa, and Pacific regions also. Southeast Pacific means China, Japan, all these regions. So they have started in the Europe, and it started not only one continent, other continents also have been suffered. So Asia, Africa, and Pacific regions, in the sense Southeast Asian regions also have been started fighting with each other for the sake of supremacy or imperialism or extreme nationalism. So this war was different. Which war? First World War I is different from other wars fought earlier in the terms of a scale of persecutions. It was fought on a worldwide scale, affected almost all countries of the world. Not only a single world, country was left. Everything was affected by the World War I. So, during this war, new methods of defense and destruction were used. So, new methods of warfare, new methods of arms were used, and that those led to the destruction. For example, I am going to explain you a small thing. Till today, in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, not even a grass is not able to grow because of radiation, which was occurred in the 1945, August 6th and 9th. Why? Because the arms which were used in the wars led to destruction. Nearly 45,000 people were suffered. Lack of the newborn child. They were lack of limbs they have born. Lack of some people may be mentally disturbed, physically handicapped, and some other people does not have a development of limbs and so on. They were born on the earth because of radiation. Okay, so this is what the arms which were used led to the destruction in the First World War. So, moreover, in the earlier wars, the civilian population were not generally involved. Civilian population means common people are not involved in any wars. But coming to the First World War, this war, what happened here? Thus the war But this war was fought by the people as a whole. Thus, the war marked the turning point of the history of the world. Because of the unprecedented extent of its spread, impact, and damage in total nature, it is known as the First World War. So, this was the main character of the war. We used previously, we have fought, the Europeans have fought wars and so on. In India also we have fought with each other. There is the thing is that, but in those wars, previously before the World War One, the civilians did not participate. Whereas coming to the World War One, everybody has participated in the First World War, and it has made damage, destruction, loss of life, and property. So that is called as a First World War One. Now we are going to discuss what are the causes for the First World War. Let us discuss now. First thing is that nationalism and imperialism causes. First one is the word itself having the words, the meaning of the words having the why it is caused. Nationalism, feeling of oneness, I have said. If you have more extremists, in the sense you are having a more love towards your country, that led to the nationalism. Okay, the more you love your country, the more you suffer. According to nationalism, that is led to the World War One. And imperialism, the country which occupied the entire world's countries. Entire countries have been occupied by the one country that is not liked by the other countries of Europe, so that they wanted to suppress the supremacy of the other country which is having the more colonies in the world. So that is led to the World War One. That is the first cause. If you want to, that is just I have said only the outlines of the study. Okay, fine. Nationalism refers to the sense of unity felt by the people. Unity in diversity, India. Okay, even though we are belonging to different states, as a country we are only one. And that feeling is felt by the people is known as a nationalism. So, the love towards country which was felt by the people is known as a nationalism. Next thing is that the people who dies for his country called as a patriots. Those are nothing but called as the feeling of nationalism, and that led to patriotism, in the sense dying for the country. So extreme nationalism led to the wars. For example, I'm saying example. It's not my own. I am came into my mind. I'm saying that one. So here, you can have a love for your religion. You should not have a extreme love for your religion. That led to terrorism. If you have a love for your religion, deity, devotion, whatever you do, but the thing is that if you want to have you love your religion, then good. Next thing is you should not feel that my religion should rule entire world. This is called as a terrorism. It is not at all good for the people. So nationalism, okay, fine, well and good. Feeling of oneness, feeling of belongingness is good, but extremeness is led to the loss. So, nationalism refers to the sense of unity felt by the people who share a common history, language, and culture. So, in the later half of the 19th century, this feeling of unity turned into extreme pride. Nationality became a extreme pride. In the second half of the 19th century, okay, this nationalism became so pride, extreme pride. My country only should rule entire world. No, it is not that one. It should not be. So, extreme pride, which made the people of many countries believe that their country is superior than other countries. It should not. That led to, next thing is that here. This led to the development of aggressive nationalism in Europe. So, feeling of oneness, okay, fine, well and good. I'm not saying about that one, but if we have a more, when you say some, what do you call, just a live example. You'll have heard about one word, headstrong. How many of you have heard this word, headstrong? Headstrong means he is having some kind of pride himself. Yeah, I am good, I can learn anything. And he gives back answers to the parents. Don't what do you call, point to anyone, please. Okay, don't point anyone. Okay, all of you are the same thing. Okay, fine. So, then somebody will say, this fellow having a headstrong. Is a pride. He is feeling of himself as a pride. So that nationalism, okay, but extremeness for everything is bad. For example, I'm going to give an example. I have examples. I have example. You can drink 5 liters of water per day, right? Am I clear? But if you take more than 5 or 6 liters, you will die. Definitely you will die because of excess of oxygen, excess of water, liquid is led to what you call not able to have a proper breath. You cannot have inhaling and exhaling properly. That is why you will die. And eating of more bananas that led to the death. Yes, of course. If you eat bananas, okay, 1 and 2 after meal, well and good. If you have a digestive system properly. But if you have more food and so on, what is going to happen? That food will not digest in your body and your what do you call it? Digestive system, you will die. Because of you won't have a proper digestive system, that will affect on the digestive system and it will create so many problems. Okay, so more than anything, more than feeling of anything, it will lead to aggressiveness. So that is what says is nothing but nationalism. Next, aggressive nationalism meant love for one's own country and hatred to other countries. Hatred of other countries. I love my country, I hate Pakistan. Okay, fine, well and good. Because you love your country, but you should not say that one, I hate Pakistan. They are also having the same feeling. I love my country, Pakistan, I hate India. Because they did not give me the Kashmir. And moreover, they have demolished the Article 370, which is having the special rights, rules and regulations for the specific Jammu and Kashmir. So, this is what. See, we can say our country is good, other country is not good, but you should not say that one. My country is superior. That's enough. My country is superior than other countries. No. My country is one of the best countries. You can say that one. But no other country is not better than my country. You should not say. Okay, fine. So that led to the aggressive nationalism. Each nation thought about their own national interest and did not care for the interests of the other nations. So, all of you know the story of Coal Within, right? How many of you know that Coal Within? Yeah, English poetry, which I have told you in the 8th B, I think so. I don't know about 9th A. Okay, fine. Well and good. The person The last person is the rich person, right? So these people are poor people. Why should I go and sleep? Why should I take out my sticks and keep for the fire? He's dying. The fire is dying, right? So why should I do that one? Should not do, because the same thing happened here. See, I am here. Somebody is suffering on the other side. I wanted to occupy those people. I can care myself, but I want to take their interest also. I don't care about their interest and so on, but I went there and occupied their place also. It is not at all good. I can have my own interest, my own job, my own problems with me. But we should not go to the other places and occupy them. It is not at all good. See here, the same thing is here. Each nation thought about its own national interest and did not care the other country's interest. They did not care. Okay, fine. For example, France wanted to get back the provinces of Alsace and Lorraine from Germany. Similarly, Italy wanted to get back the territory of Trentino, Trieste from Austria. Balkan state like Serbia wanted their fellow national slaves who lived in the other states should come together to form a greater Balkan states. These countries developed expansionist policies in the name of nationalism. Therefore, military strength becomes synonymous with national prestige, and every country began to increase their military power. So, all of you are 10th A, okay? You are in 10th class. Okay, so I am teaching in the 10th B. I wanted to bring those people, those who are in 10th A, but they are studying well. They wanted to spoil their study, and I want to bring here. Because I am teaching to everyone, but I want to bring those people to my, because I'm lost. Because some other people, they are from what we call first language Hindi, first language Telugu, so many things are there, right? So I wanted to bring them here. Okay, so we should not do that one, because I wanted to get those people to my class, which I lost. For example, in the 8th standard, there are, I think, till our 7th class, we used to have two, Hindi and Telugu, right? Am I clear, children? So, some people, after 7th standard, they went to Hindi class and Telugu class. So, I want to bring them all together. What I have to do? I have to wage a war and I have to get back. The same thing was happening to these countries. France, Italy, Balkan states, and Serbia, they have lost their provinces in the previous wars. France, Italy, Balkan states, and Serbia have lost their provinces in the previous wars. So they wanted to get back them to their countries in order to make a big territory. So, in the name of nationalism, they are doing all these things. In the name of nationalism, they are doing, because they are going to the particular people and saying, yeah, you are belongs to France. Why you are here? We are all together. We are all one. Why don't you come back to us? So these kind of things, in the name of nationalism, they are creating some kind of chaos in the minds of people. Chaos means some kind of what we call enmity towards in the minds of people to the country where they are living. So this is what the nationalism is. Anuj getting asleep. Rosie, stand up. Yeah, I wake up at 3 o'clock. I woke up at 3 o'clock. I am thinking how to take off the flight and so on. how to teach. Okay. Since 3 days when I'm suffering the same thing. Yeah, till now no sleep. Okay, fine. I'm just thinking of how to take you to the tour, how to explain the lesson. Okay, and moreover, I went to my drone exercise, everything. I came back. Just I'm thinking of that. Okay, don't feel bad with have any punishment. Stand. Okay, fine. Next thing is that in order to occupy the nations, in order to regain the nations which was lost by the France, Italy, so what you call Balkan states and Austria, they need to have a military warfare, and they have started developing their military power. They have started to develop their military power in the name of nationality or nationalism. Remember, children, how the hard thing is that. In order to get the country, what you call those lost properties, is it needed to develop their military and so on. No. We can go and ask the government which was in the hands of other countries. We can ask them, or if not, we can have a war. So this is what in the name of in the shadow of nationalism, people are doing all these things. Okay, occupying the what you call other kingdoms, and they are what you call bringing the provinces back to their country, and they have started to develop their own military power and so on. In order to get those provinces back, they started to develop their military and arms everything. So these aggressive nationalism also led to the rise of imperialism. Nationality raised to imperialism. So, imperialism refers to a state, policy, or practice by which a powerful nation establishes its control over the other country, just like Britain. Okay, occupying other countries, colonizing the people, okay, countries and so on. Each either by divert territorial acquisitions or by gaining political and economic control. So, the nationalism led to imperialism. What is that one? See, France, Italy, Serbia, and Austria, they wanted to get their provinces back. In order to getting the provinces back, they have developed army. In the feeling of nationalism, they are doing all these things. So, Britain is the imperialistic country in the world. By seeing this Britain, others also started. And not only that, but in order to get back their own provinces, in the shadow of nationalism, they wanted to get back their provinces back, and they waged war on the other countries. They invaded the other countries to bring back their own provinces in the shadow of nationalism. Extreme nationalism. Our country, our people, our provinces. We have to get back there. Okay, fine. Once conquered, this country was claimed as a colony. All of us know that one. So, Britain occupied South Africa. Britain occupied North America. Britain occupied the Sri Lanka, some part of China, some part of Burma, India. So, Australia also. Okay, good. So, once the country is occupied by the superior country or which have more power, that area is called as a colony. That area is called as a colony. So, these are things. These countries have been occupying. The superior countries or powerful countries are occupying the other countries. Those are known as colonies. So, and there are so many countries are there. which they have occupied the other countries also. So, these colonies were governed and administered by the imperial nation through its representatives or a puppet government. Imperial nation exploited the resources of these colonies for their own economic interest. Colonies provided raw material, cheap labor, agricultural land, and trading ports to the imperial nations. By the end of 20th century, England and France had built up a huge colonial empire in Asia and Africa. British imperialism was focused on maintaining and expanding trade and exploiting the resources of the colonies: India, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Egypt, South Africa, Caribbean islands, and many parts of Africa. So, what happened here? The colonies which were occupied by the major countries called as Britain and France, they have occupied a huge amount of countries. They have established the colonies and so on. From that, what they are doing? From the colonies, what they are getting? First thing is that we can say at a stage, at a highlight, we can say that one, the imperial nations are economically developing by spoiling the colonial areas. These imperial nations are getting developed or they are getting economic profits. For example, from India, they have taken the raw materials like iron and so on. So they have developed their industries in England, which was produced in the industry of England. Those goods are sold in the colonial areas or colonies to the cheaper rates. So what happened? The industries which are there in the colonies will be gone to dust. They have been destroyed by the imperial nations. So whatever to do, see, the raw materials are free for the imperial nations. Labor, agriculture sector, everything is free for the imperial nations, just like India. So they have taken everything from India. That is why drain theory, it is said that all the raw material have been taken away from India, but India was left as an empty vessel. Drained. The entire raw material was drained by the British people. They have taken away everything to their country and they have made through the industries and they have brought here and they have destroyed our market, our industries, our people. Everything has been spoiled. Okay, so this is what the imperialism and so on. Next. Britain's imperial power was reinforced by her powerful and the world's large navy. Some other countries of the world, like Germany, Italy, Russia, Japan, also wanted to increase their sphere of influence and create their colonies in Asia and Africa. These colonies were essential for their progress as they could provide raw material for their industries and markets for their finished products. Besides, acquiring colonies would add the power and prestige of the countries. This led to a clash of interest among these countries. The European powers began to scramble for expanding their economic and political empire. Thus, aggressive nationalism and fierce economic competition filled the atmosphere of fear, apprehension, and mutual hatred and international tension. People felt convinced that international problems could only be solution through militarism. So, it is said that by seeing Britain colonialism, France, Italy, Germany, even Japan also wanted to have a colonies in Asia and Africa. But already the Britain people are having so much power on the water, or you can say on seas. They did not allow the other countries to develop or create or conquer other countries also. That led to the wars because they develop and they are not allowing other persons to develop. So this led to the aggressive nationalism as well as the militarism. That is the first cause: nationalism and imperialism. Second thing is that armaments. In order to establish a colony, there is a need of wars. In order to destroy the other country, there is a need of wars. So there is a competition in armaments. There is a competition means, for example, India having the Prithvi, Nag, everything is there, as well as the Pakistan also having the developing their own weapons and so on. In order to create the supreme power, in order to have a supreme authority on the other countries. So, race for armaments, race competition of creating or establishing or production of new weapons, warfare and so on. So, the mad race for armaments, people are so mad. You know, I'm going to give one formula. Whose formula is this one? Yeah. All good? Yes. Fantastic. You know, he is the person who created hydrogen bomb. At the end of his life, he said only one thing: I have created a destruction to my country, to the world. In his deathbed, he said only one word: I did not give any knowledge to the country, what you call world, but I have given the destruction. After Second World War, he said those words. People are mad about the warfare in the First World War. Mad creation of what you call weapons and so on. It created mad things. For example, I'm going to give you a live example today here. Yesterday I went to, I said I think so yesterday. Okay, I went to the ground. People are sitting on the wall of a what you call canal. Okay, and the people those who did not wear the mask, and they're sitting together close by. They are playing PUBG, Free Fire. People are mad about the cell phones and so on. In the same way, in order to create imperialism, in order to create a supreme power in the European countries, not only European countries, entire world, people are mad about creation of warfare and so on. That is what led to the World War I. So, the mad race for armaments, which began soon after the Franco-Prussian War. Franco-Prussian War. Prussia is nothing but they is calling as Zimbabwe. I'll get you at the point. Franco-Prussian War was one of the reasons which led to the First World War. Every major power began to stop playing armaments in the name of the self-defense and preservation of peace. So, in order to create a peace is the need of a war. In order to maintain a peace is the need of war. Is the need of war is there? In order to create a peace. So, for example, I am going to tell you one thing. For doing something, you have life. For the sake of good, you have life. In order to cover that lie, you have to say another lie. In order to cover that lie, you have to say another lie. So, in order to create a peace, you need to wage a war. In order to cover that one, what do you call that war? Why it has happened that war? You need to have another war. So, the creation of peace is maintained by the war. In order to safeguard themselves, there is need of a war, and moreover, in order to maintain a peace, there is a war exists. Yogesh, you understand? What I said, did you understand? Tell me what you understand. So. Be here. No, don't get anywhere. Okay. The word is nothing, the sentence is nothing but in order to have a self defense, in order to create peace.